Коллеги, вопросы? Если нет вопросов, Axel, thank you. И следующий доклад у нас будет Марко Шмидт, координатор процесса разработки правил RIPE.
Dobre utro. Good morning. My name is Marco Schmidt. I work as a Policy Development Officer for the RIPE NCC, and I would like to tell you about policy development. And it's actually quite easy. Policy development, what is this? Maybe some of you think about that it's something very bureaucratic, boring, not technical. But if you give me around 10-15 minutes, I hope I can convince you that it's actually quite important and also not so bureaucratic, and very important and interesting for you. Because, yeah, what is a policy? Probably when you listen policy, you think about rules, laws made by the government. And actually, the same also, it's pretty similar for us. There are policies, and these are the rules under which the RIPE NCC works. And all the resources that we hand out that are registered, IPv4, IPv6, AS numbers, we have to follow those rules. And in consequence, also you, if you receive services, if you receive resources from us, you have to follow those rules. And this can be sometimes a bit annoying because, like Axel just said, we only have can give you a limited amount of IPv4. But good news is those policies can be changed. And yeah, who can change those policies? Is it the RIPE NCC, or maybe the board of the RIPE NCC, or maybe the members of the RIPE NCC, all the LARs? But in fact, it is everyone. It's people like you, everyone that is part of the RIPE community, which is basically everyone who has an interest in the development of the internet, can participate and can speak up, can raise their opinion, can give their feedback. And that's done in a very open and transparent process. It's done mainly on mailing lists, and everything is in public. And it's not limited, as I said, to anyone is outcasted. On RIPE meetings, or even here on ENOG meetings, on ENOG mailing list, ideas can be discussed. Policy changes, somebody is not happy how's the policy, or thinks something can be done better, or should be something new introduced. But the actual official discussion, everything happen on mailing list of the RIPE community. There are different ones. Mostly for policy development is the address policy mailing list. But also there can be different other ones, depend of the topic. And everyone can subscribe to those mailing lists and participate. And I will a little bit tell you now how this works. That's the process in a very easy overview. So let's say somebody is not happy how the policies are right now, how a detail that he would like to change or she would like to change. So he published a proposal, and it will be discussed on the mailing list. People give their feedback, if they like it, if maybe they have some suggestions how to make it better. And if there's a general feeling that, yeah, this proposal will get support, it will move to the next phase, to the review phase. And that's done, by the way, in a working group that has usually 2 chairs, and they are a little bit moderating this discussion. They stay neutral, but they observe and they evaluate what feedback, what opinions are raised. And at the end of the second phase, of the review phase, they decide if consensus has been reached. Because consensus, it's also an interesting concept. So it's not voting. It's not that so many support the proposal, so many are against it. It's more that in overall the people, the community thinks that this proposal is good. There might be some opposing opinions that should be addressed, that should be taken into account, but the overall feeling must be that change is good. And if such consensus is declared, it will move to last call. And if nobody speaks up, the last call is like the last chance to oppose a proposal, then the proposal is accepted. I understand that's probably still a little bit theoretic, so I want to maybe explain it better on an example, on one proposal that was recently discussed. Oops, sorry. Axel just mentioned it. It was the alignment of transfer requirements for IPv4 allocations. And I have now a question to you. Who already has listened about that proposal? If you maybe just can show your hands. Just a few. Okay, so I will tell a little bit about it because you might be impacted, or you may be impacted by this. Axel mentioned it. Right now we give 1/22 IPv4, so around 1,000 IPs, to our members, just one. And before that proposal was done, it was possible that somebody opened an LAR and transfer immediately away that allocation to somebody else on the market. And that happened quite a lot, so there was a problem observed by the web community that, LARs were open not to become really a member and to provide services, just to get a piece of IPv4 and give it to somebody else. And as a solution to that proposal, or to that problem, a solution was, it was suggested to introduce a 24 months holding period. So you get this /22 IPv4 from the WIPE NCC, and you have to keep it with your membership for 2 years to avoid a little bit some speculation, some kind of flip mechanism. And there was a lot of discussion on the mailing list. It was, in fact, one of the most heavy discussed proposals ever. And a lot of people supported it because they said, yes, those transfers, they are against the spirit of the policy, because this IPv4 address space, these little chunks, should be used for new companies, should be used also to guide into the IPv6 time. Some other people also said that in support of that proposal, that those transfers have a serious impact, because the WIPE NCC has only a last /8 left, and as more people do this opening and transferring, we will run out very soon of that IPv4 space. And this last block actually should be kept or preserved as long as possible for new organizations. However, they also were opposing that proposal. They said, yeah, if you do that, then it blocks the cheap access to IPv4, because the only option that is left then to buy address space on the transfer market, if you need more than a /22. Also, these people say that actually these transfers have not a serious impact. It's a small number, so let's not worry about it. And also, some opposing argument was, well, it even doesn't really help that change, because organizations still can sell their network inclusive that address space immediately, or they can merge with another company. So let's not even go there. And I have again a question to you. I hope you listen carefully, because this proposal is probably new for many of you. But after what you have heard right now, who would have supported that proposal? If you just can maybe raise your hand, who would have supported that proposal? A couple. And who would have opposed that proposal? Also, yeah, don't be shy, that's okay. Because, there were quite some, but at the end, the proposal was accepted, because more people of the WIPE community thought it was a good change. So, especially maybe people who didn't like the change, maybe it would have been a good moment to go to the mailing list and raise your opinion. And of course, even if you like that change, also do it because it gives more support. But anyhow, and then I have here an overview, how was this participation over whole Europe? And as more darker the color, as more people of that country participated. And you actually saw it triggered a lot of interest all over our service region. A lot of Germany was quite strong, Russia had many people speaking up, even Iran, also the UK. But if you look a little bit closer to the ENOG region, so it's a bit, so that's again Russia, and the yellow part is the Ukraine. And you see there was not many, actually there was only one person from the Ukraine speaking up to that proposal. And it's actually a pity because you are missing an opportunity to participate. The same also, I saw there are some people from Moldavia here at that meeting. There was no participation from Moldavia. So again, that's the point that I want to make, that if you don't speak up, you cannot later complain that something has happened or not happened because you didn't participate. It's the same like with any going to elections and joining a political discussion. It's the same here, and it's very easy and it's very open. So this proposal anyhow was history, but there are some ongoing ones, and maybe they might be interesting for you too. And then it's your chance to participate. There's one proposal discussed since quite a while. It would remove the multi-homing requirements for AS numbers. Because right now you need to have 2 peering partners in order to get an AS number. And that proposal wants to remove that requirement. And it's right now not open for discussion because there was different opinions and the proposal are working on a new version. Another proposal that is open for discussion is to combine all the transfer policies. Because right now in our region, you can transfer all the resources that are out there. IPv4 you can transfer, you can IPv6, and you also can transfer AS numbers. But all these rules are shattered around over different policies, and that proposal tried to combine it. And it also, amongst others, introduced a new rule that even any change of holdership, so even a merger and acquisition, after holdership has changed, you have to keep the resource for 24 months before you can transfer it under the policy. So that's quite something new. And I also have a little sneak preview for you, because very likely next week there will be a new proposal on the mailing list. And this proposal will discuss an option for LARs to get more IPv4 from the last /8. So if you are a member of the WIPE-NCC and if you would like to get more IPv4, keep an eye on the mailing list and have a look. Maybe that proposal might be interesting to you. I want to now just mention a few more proposals that were recently accepted. The first one I just mentioned, the 24 months holding period. Also, inter-IR transfers are now possible, so resources can be transferred between different regions, so not just in our WIPE region, but also with North America and with Asia Pacific. So if somebody might have some address space left over there or needs it, it can be now transferred. And also for IPv6, something new, that there were some new criteria accepted to allow especially large companies or multinational companies or governments that have a very complex network or organization structure to get large address space of IPv6 for it. So, what next? Actually, I want to give a task to you. If you think that policy development or policies are important to you, which they should. So get informed. There's a link that if you download the presentation, you can get it, where you can find all the open policy proposals. And if you think that you would like to speak up, if you, do so, subscribe to the mailing list, and then give your opinion. And it's actually quite easy, because I understand that sometimes people might be a little bit reluctant, a bit hesitant to go onto mailing lists and speak, because Maybe they are not sure if the English is good enough, but that's really not a problem because you don't need to do much. If you like to do a proposal, if you like to support a proposal, you just say, I support this proposal. Or you might like to add something additional if you suggestions that you have a comment. And you can even just say +1. That's also okay. And if you oppose a proposal, you say it as well, you oppose it, and then you give a reason why you don't like a proposal, why you oppose it. And -1, that's the only difference to the support. You cannot just do -1 because an opposition always needs to have a reason behind it. Because in support, you follow the reason of the proposer. If you're against it, you need to say why. If somebody else has already given some opposing reasons, then you, of course, can say, I also oppose the proposal for the same reasons. So it's quite easy. And I mentioned it at the beginning, in around 1 month, there will be our next RIPE meeting, inclusive an address policy session. There will be some discussion, and it's actually close by, so I would like to invite you and would be happy to see you there. And join that experience. And this brings me almost to the end of my presentation. I hope that now the policy development is something a bit more clear and interesting to you. And if you have any more questions about it, about existing policies, ongoing proposals, you can find me the whole day at the service desk that is just outside of this room. Of course, you also can send me an email at pdo@ripe.net. And if you would like to have an easy way to be a bit updated what's going on, you can follow me always on Twitter. There you get always the latest news, not just about policy development in our region, also on a global scale. So that's quite convenient. And I just included some links about the current proposals and about the different working groups in case you want to subscribe to them. So you can find them in my presentation, in the presentation archive. And that's the end of my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions